Hi everyone, Garen here. Today we'll be starting our playthrough of Pocket Landship. In the previous video we went through the overview and the setup. So what we have here is the cards laid out as per the recommended starting deck. We've got a mech, some infantry and a landship trap there. We've managed to draw Commander Vogel as our commander, which gives us some repair options. We've got the dice set up, the starting hit points. So let's get into it. Play around. 1, 1, and 3. Pop them over here while we have to think about what we're doing. I tend to think pretty slowly in games like this, so I'll try to edit down my my thinking time so that you don't have to sit through it. So with that roll, we don't have a lot of options. If we were to put the 1 over here in our sponsons, that's no action, so we don't want to do that. So really what we want to do is use the 3 here. That will let us attack the left front. 2 damage to infantry or 1 damage to a mech, so we could put 1 damage there. If we use the 1 on our cannon, that's 1 damage to any frontline mech. We have 1. And 1 would let us hunker down on our hole there, which prevents it from taking damage. So we won't be taking damage. This does 1 damage to any frontline mech, which has to be the only option here. And 3, 1 damage to the left front. So that takes them from 4 to 3. It's not a bad start. Enemy unit round. So as per our video, we just get lowest to highest, left to right. So 3, 5, and 6. And let's have a look at the effect. So 3 on this mech is 1 damage to our cannons. And drops us from 4 to 3. The infantry here, a 5 is 1 damage to sponsons or shock troops. We're not playing with the shock troop card, so that's 1 damage to our sponsons. 4, 2, 3. And a 6 on the landship traps is a miss, no action. So not a terrible round for us. Now these landship trap, this card is a card that can't be attacked. It's got a little timer symbol here which indicates that it just comes out for 1 round and then it moves off the board. So that's its first round done. This next card will move down to replace it, and we have the Boar class mech. This one has an SR value of 4, which I think is the highest in this deck, so that's quite a difficult one. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. So that's it. Back to play around 2. What have we got? A 1, a 4, and a 6. So again, pop them over here while we have to think about what we want to do. So looking at what we've got, I think we want to keep pouring out the damage where we can. So 1 would be hunkering down on the landship. I don't think we need to do that. 4 is a repair. We're not going to use that. So let's put the 6 here to do 1 damage to infantry or artillery. Let's do that now. Then we've got 1 and 4. 1 on the sponsons would be no action, so let's use that at the cannon, which does 1 damage to any frontline mech. Let's keep trying to take this one out. And the 4 on this card is attack center front. 2 damage to infantry or 1 damage to a mech. The center front is infantry. 2 damage to infantry takes that infantry card out, so that's good. That leaves the board. We have another mech come into play there with 4 HP. Okay, so health-wise, we're doing pretty good. We don't want to take too much damage. That's certainly one way we can lose if we lose our hull or cannon entirely. So enemy round, they rolled 2, a 3, and 6. 2 critical hit, 1 damage to hull. Drops our hull from 5 to 4. 3. We've got 1 damage to cannon. 3 to 2. So the damage is starting to pile up now. We need to keep an eye on that. And 6 here is 1 damage to cannon. So again, if we lose our hull or our cannon, that's the end of the game for us. So we need to make sure that we get that cannon repaired up. So play around. Let's try and focus on that. 2, 4, and 6. So we definitely want to repair that cannon. Our best option here is to use the 6 here, repair cannon +2. I think that's a sensible choice there, which leaves 2 and 4. We don't need to use the 4 on the landship hull. It's a bit of a waste to repair 2 damage when we've only taken 1. So let's try this. We'll use the ingenuity ability here, which lets us adjust one of the dice up or down. So we can change this to a 3 or a 5, which will let us either attack the left front or the right front. So I think what we want to do is change this from a 4 to a 3 and attack the left front, which puts 1 damage on that mech. We repair the cannon by 2, so it goes from 1 to 3. And that's our play around. Enemy unit round. 4, 4, 5. Okay, so 4 glancing hit, 1 damage to sponsons. Sponsons goes from 3 to 2. A 4 from this one gives us 1 damage to the hull. Our hull dropped from 4 to 3. And a 5 over here, retreat and repair. Swap back 1 card and reduce damage by 1. So it hasn't taken any damage, but what happens here is it actually retreats back 1. Card behind it moves forward to reveal. And we've got one of the other mech units there. Play around. 2, 4, and 6. So I think it is worth trying to get some repairs done now. We could use our Commander Vogel card, but I'd rather leave that till later in the game. When we hit the final battle phase, we can't repair using cards, repairing using dice, sorry. So it's good to have that card available. So I think what we'll do is we'll pop our 4 here on the hull, which lets us repair 2. Let's just do that now. I think the 2 or the 4. Let's do it this way. So a 2 here would let us do 2 damage to the front center mech. We drop him from 4 to 2. And a 6 over here lets us do 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. So let's take that mech out. That's the first mech that we've taken out of the game. Just going to leave that over here. Once we defeat 2 mechs, we get the option to draw an advantage card, so that's just a reminder. The new card that pops out is a minefield. That's another unattackable card. It will just sit here for 2 rounds, potentially do damage. So, enemy unit round. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. Catastrophic explosion. 2 damage to hull. So we've in fiction driven straight into that minefield. So hull is down to 3. It's good that we've kept the repairs up on that one. 2 here. Repair. Reduce damage by 1. Not the best option for us. 3 and 5 here is critical damage. 1 damage to hull. So our hull is down to 2. Again, Need to be careful there, make sure we're repairing that where we can. Player round. 3, 5, and 6. Alright, let's have a think. So in hindsight, I think I need to remember the emergency repair option where we roll 1 fewer dice to get a repair in. On our hull here, a 3 is no action, a 6 is damage to infantry or artillery, and there's none on the board at the moment. So our only real option is to use the 5, which gives us an extra dice for next turn. I'll leave that there to remind us. Which leaves us for a 3 or 6 on here. I think we want to use the 6 to get +1 healing on the hull. And then the 3 here would do 2 damage to infantry or artillery, but the left front, which we can't attack. So not the best choice there. We swap that, 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. A 3 here would be 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. That's the best option for us there. Frontline, let's, these are both similar strength rating. Let's just put 2 damage on this guy in the center. Try to knock out another mech and get us an advantage card. So this is the enemy unit round. 3, 5, and 6. 3, miss, no action. 5, swap with card to the left. So these move around. And a 6, glancing hit, 1 damage to sponsons. Now if we lose the sponsons, we don't lose the game, but obviously that's going to limit the amount of damage that we can do. Now, the minefield drops down by 1. I think I remember to do that last time. And it's back to player unit, player round. We've got our extra dice from this, so we get to roll 4. So do we stop and use an emergency repair? I think I will. It will mean the hull doesn't get to take an option this round, although if we're rolling 4 dice, we roll a 4, that's going to heal us 2. Okay, let's roll the dice, it's probably better at this moment. So there's our 4. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we're going to use the 4 on that hull to get 2 points of healing, but let's just have a think. Yeah, I think we have to. We'll put our 4 over here to repair hull +2. We go from 2 to 4. If we can get a hit on this left mech, we will take him out, which needs a 3, so I think that's the choice there. Which leaves us a 5 or a 6 here. 5 is no action. 6 is repair cannon by 2, which would waste 1, or 1 on the sponsons or hull. So I think what we might do is put the 6 there and just repair the sponsons by 1. So from 1 to 2. We do 1 damage to this mech, which takes it out. That's the second mech that we've knocked out, which lets us draw an advantage card. So draw the top 2, and we get to choose 1. Chaos and outmaneuver. Outmaneuver lets us swap any 2 frontline enemy units. Whereas Chaos, any frontline enemy unit loses a turn. That could be or stopping a turn. I think stopping a turn, preventing a 1 unit from having their turn is probably a bit more powerful for us. So we'll hang on to that Chaos card. Outmaneuver gets discarded. We've taken this mech out, so the card at the back moves forward. We have another mech. And it is the enemy round. Just rolling 3 dice for them. That is a 2, 3, and 5. 2, 3, 5. So deploy right, swap with card to the right. So it's shifting around that minefield there. Minefield is at 2. No, we've done that one. 3, miss, no action. And 5, 1 damage to hull. So good thing we healed that up. Okay, that's the end of the enemy round. Now that minefield, the timer has gone on that, so that moves out. This card from the back center will move forward and across. That's the last mech. 5 there. So back to play around 3, 4, and 5. We might need to look at doing a bit more healing, but let's have a think. I think it's worth keeping our whole hit points high. We're getting to the stage of the game where we hit final battle and we can't repair during cards anymore, during using dice anymore, sorry. So I think we'll repair the hull by 2. What can we do? Either 1 on the left or 1 on the right. Okay, over here would be, well, 5 is no action, so let's not play that. We'll put 3 here, which lets us do 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. A 5 over here would let us do 1 damage to this mech on the right. So we'll do our healing. We go from 3 back up to full. And the 1 point of damage on a mech and the 1 point of damage on the mech on the right, let's put them both on this guy on the right. So he drops from 4 to 2. And we go back to the enemy phase. 2, 2, 2. So that is a miss, no action. Deploy right, swap with card to the right. 2, and then 2 here. Deploy right, swap with card to the right. So they move back. That's a great round for us. No action and 2 mechs shifting around. So we're back to the player phase. 2, 4, and 6. Well, I mean, while we've got the option, I'd really like to use the fragmentation shell here. So let's say we're going to put 2 here, which gives us 2 damage to the front center mech. That leaves us with a 4 or a 6. 6 would be 1 damage to infantry or artillery. There's none on the board. Our other option would be to repair the hull by 2 or the sponsons or cannon by 1. That's an option. What do we get over here if we use the 4? Would be 1 damage to the center front or 1 damage to any. So I think that's probably the way to go. That will let us do 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. A 4 here would let us repair the hull by 2, which we don't need, or the sponsons or cannon by 1. Either's probably useful. Again, if we lose the sponsons, we don't lose the game. If we lose the cannon, we lose the game. So let's put our cannons back up to full health. That's that done. 2 damage to the front center mech, drops him from 5 to 3, if I can find it. And then 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. Let's drop this guy on the right down to 1. So that's pretty good. Let's go to enemy unit phase. 2, 2, and 2. Oh, we've had this one before. 2 here, no action. 2 here, swap with card to the right, which would move them over. 2 here, swap this card to the right, which would move them back. So that's a great round from us. The enemy just maneuvering and not getting us at all. Player phase 2, 5, and 5. I think we're good for healing. So you really want to use that 2 here to get 2 damage on that front center mech. 5 over here would let us roll an extra dice next turn. That's probably our best bet there. And then we get to do attack right front, 1 damage to a mech, which would take him out. So this looks like a good play here. So Adrenaline will give us an extra dice for next turn. A 2 Fragmentation Shell will do 2 damage to this mech, drops him down to 1. A 5 here will do 1 damage to the right front mech, takes that guy out. That's another mech finished. We need 1 more to get another advantage card, but that brings this Boar class mech back into the front row, and we are now in the final battle phase. So at this point we can't use dice to heal anymore. Luckily we've got Commander Vogel here, which will give us a heal if we need it. But we're at the enemy unit phase. 1, 3, 4. 1. Swap with the card to the center. Okay. This would have been the 3. Repair. Reduce damage by 1. But he can't repair anymore. And 4 is a critical hit, 1 damage to the hull. Not too bad. Hull drops by 1. All in all, not a terrible round for us. We really need to try to take that mech on the left out there. Play around, we've got our extra dice. 4, 4, and 6 and 6. Okay, what can we do with those? Not the best options for us, really. If we go across, a 4 here is a repair, which we can't use. A 4 here is an explosive shell, 1 damage to any frontline unit. That would go over here. A 4 here would be attack center front. This mech here only does 1 damage. We could look at the 6s. 6 here would be damage to infantry or artillery, which we can't do. There's none on the board. This would be a repair, which we can't do. And this would be 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. So nothing we can really do with the hull is of any benefit. We can't repair, and we can't attack because there's no infantry or artillery. Over here we can't repair, so the only real option here is a 4, which would let us do 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. Here is a 4 or a 6, so we can either do 1 to the center front or 1 to any. This one's already going to be taken out. Let's do a 6 here, 1 damage to any. And let's try to get the scary guy down first. So, I mean, we'll put a dice here, we'll put a 4 down. It's a heal, we can't do it. The 4 here is 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. We'll use that to take this mech out. That's the second one we've taken out, which gives us an advantage card. We'll do next. And then the 6 here is 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit, which we're going to take against this Boar class mech. So we'll do advantage cards now. Again, we draw 2. We've got Smokescreen and Disable. So we can re-roll all player dice, or we can immobilize 1 frontline enemy unit. Now I believe immobilize, they can still attack, but they can't move. So probably not the best card for us. I think we go with Smokescreen. It gives us some options if we just roll terribly and mitigate that dice randomness. So we'll keep that down. Let's move this around. Pop that there. You can see we've got Smokescreen and Chaos handy. Hopefully I'll remember to use it. And we are back to the enemy round. What happens here is, because we've only got 2 cards left, to sort of balance out. There's left and right. At the moment, any abilities that attack center we can't use anymore. It counts as not having a center enemy there. And because the enemy is down to 2, they only get to roll 2 dice. So we have a 2 and a 3. 2, miss, no action, fantastic. 3, critical hit, 1 damage to the hull. Drops us from a 4 to a 3. Again, not a bad round for us. We still get to roll 3. We want to consider using any of our cards. We could force our frontline unit to lose a turn. That might be useful down the line if we get a bit lower. This card here has 2 options to damage hull, 2 options to damage the cannon. This one can do 2 options which will damage the hull, 1 which will damage the cannon. If we were going to stop anything from activating, we'd probably want to target that. But at this point in the game, we're not going to get taken out, hopefully. So we'll see what we get from this. 6, 6, and 5. What can we do with that? Well, 5 or 6. Roll an extra dice or damage artillery, which we can't do, so really we can only use the 5 on this card. 5 or 6 would be no action or repair, which we can't use. Our 5 or 6 here would be front right, which could target this, or a quick shot, which could target any. So we're only going to be able to use one of our dice at the moment, so I think this is where we will use our smoke screen, give ourselves a reroll, and try to get some better options. So we reroll all our player dice. And we've got a 4, a 4, and a 6. Is that going to be any better? Not really. Again, this card is repair or damage infantry, which we can't do. High explosive shell would let us damage any front line or repair, which we can't do. And we've got center front, which we can't attack because there's no front or 1 to any unit. So that's a bit of a waste. We can't repair. We only really want to use 4 and 6. So a bit of a nothing dice. We've got 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit, and we've got 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. So 2 points of damage to allocate. Let's try to knock that guy down. Again, if I'm doing the numbers properly, there's no chance for us getting taken out this round, so I don't think we need to use our teamwork. Commander Vogel card. Let's see what the enemy rolls. A 3 and a 4. Oh, almost jinxed myself there. So 3, 1 damage to hull. 4, 1 damage to hull. Drops us down to a 1. Now, it's definitely time to use our Vogel card. This lets us repair 1 player unit by 2 and another by 1. So we're definitely going to repair our hull back up to 3. Our cannon is at full health, so let's just put the other +1 on sponsons. Commander Vogel's been used. We still have our Chaos card if we want to stop anything from activating. But let's do our round. 3, 4, and 5. Well, at least we've got some options this time. Or do we? 3, no action. 4, repair. 5, adrenaline. Gives us an extra dice. That's really the only one that's worth using at the moment. 5 would be a jam. Front right, we could do some damage there, but let's see what other options we've got. You can attack front left or center. There's no center, so we've only really got front left. So I think that's it. Well, no, we need to do it this way. 3 and 4. So 5 gives us an extra dice for next round. 4, 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. 3, attack front left. So we'll put 1 point of damage there, 1 point of damage over here. Now it is the enemy unit phase. Again, I don't want to jinx us, but we shouldn't be able to get taken out in this round. 4, 1 damage to cannon. 5, retreat and repair. Swap back 1 card and reduce damage by 1. So you won't move back, there's no card to swap with, and they can't repair. So it's just 1 damage to the cannon. Drops us from 4 to 3. Play around, we get our 3 dice plus our extra from adrenaline. 3, 1, 5, 6. I think if we can take out that ball class mech, we'll be in a very good position. The one here will let us hunker down on the hull, which prevents it from taking any damage, so that seems like a good survivability choice. With a 3, 5, or 6, front left, front right, or any, let's use the 5 here just as an option, which would let us put 1 damage on that mech. 3, 6 would be a repair, which we can't do. The only real choice here is a 3, high explosive shell, 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. There we go. 2 points of damage to any frontline enemy unit takes out that ball class mech. No point hanging on to that one. We're not going to get another advantage card. 1 hunkers down, so our hull can't take any damage next round. We're back to the enemy phase. They've only got 1 dice. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. The enemy has rolled a 5, 1 damage to hull. We're hull down, no damage. Perfect. We'll take that off. Back to the play round. We've still got 3. I don't think we can take this guy out this round, but let's see. 4, 6, and 6. Again, not great for our hull. That's a repair or damaged infantry, which we don't have the option. 6 would be a repair, or 4 is 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. So that's really the only choice. And then we've got 6 or 6. So quick shot, 1 damage to any frontline enemy unit. That's going to work for us. 2 damage to this guy in the front. That's pretty good. Back to the enemy turn, but I think let's play Chaos. Any frontline enemy unit loses 1 turn. So our Badger class mech doesn't get a turn. Back to the player phase. Let's see if we can take this guy out. I think we have 2, 4, and 6. Well, there's only one choice here. 2 damage to front center mech. Because we're down to 1 card, it counts as left, center, and right. 2 damage to front center mech. That's it. We've done it. That last Badger class mech gets eliminated, and we've won the game. So that's it. It's good to have a win, and that's Pocket Landship. I think we played pretty well there. It's really key to keep your repairs up on your landship and hull and cannon, certainly before going into the final battle phase when you can't. Obviously, hanging on to Commander Vogel until we could use him in that final battle phase was key for us, letting us get that repair in. And I think our choice of when to use Smokescreen and Chaos was a bit of a gimme at the end, but certainly I think we played quite well there. So that's Pocket Landship. As you can see, we've had a win, which is great. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.